let's hit on some quick tips for you when buying subject to. I would recommend not wholesaling subject to deals, and let me tell you why. So you talk to a seller, you go to their home, you sit down with them, you negotiate the deal, you negotiate as a subject to deal, and then you go out to your wholesale buyers list and go to sell the deal. Well, we've chosen not to do that just simply because whenever you buy a property subject to and you're taking on someone's loan payments, then that's a pretty big responsibility. And so what if you were to contract a property subject to, wholesale it to another investor, and then they stop making the payments on the loan for whatever reason? Then that seller could end up coming back to you in a very negative way. And so we've just chosen, when wholesaling deals, we just always chose to make those all cash deals. Change the account information. This is for any loans that you're taking over subject to. So you closed on the property. What I typically immediately do is give the mortgage company a phone call. And at that time, I've already sent in my authorization to release information form, which we already talked about. And so I'm authorized to speak with them in reference to the account. And I go ahead and just say to the customer service rep, you know what, I think you may have the wrong mailing address for the property now. And then I verify it. And if I can go ahead and change it right there on the spot, then I do so. At times they will require that you mail in a letter. So at the closing, it's a great idea to go ahead and have the seller sign just a simple letter that's a change of mailing address for that property, for that specific loan, so that if you do need to fax in something to the mortgage company, you can. Oftentimes they'll let you change it simply over the phone, or at times as well, you can have an online account where you can just figure out the login information or set it up and then just go in online and change it. Same with the phone numbers as well. I make sure to call in at the same time and say, I'm afraid that you have the wrong contact phone numbers for this property now, and I go ahead and make sure to change all those over so that any information, any phone calls, any mail pieces are going to come to us and not the previous owner of the property. Attorney or title company, you want to find a friendly, open-minded attorney or title company to help you with these type of closings. And there are investors out there that simply have a deed or title drawn up in reference to the property and have the seller sign it, file it themselves, and do not go through the formal closing process. But we always have. We networked around when getting started at our local Real Estate Investors Association. Found an attorney that would work with us, talked to him a little bit, told him how we were going to go about things, and built a great relationship. So, and I always found that instead of just getting a deed signed and filing at the courthouse, having a formal sit-down closing, and the attorney, of course, puts together the settlement statement, and we have them do the title search, because of course you want to make sure that you know about any liens on the property and such. But I would recommend, if you're just getting started and don't have a contact here, find another creative real estate investor in your area and ask who they use as far as closing those type of deals. Ask whoever runs the real estate investor group in your area. You can find somebody pretty easily. Buy your property in a land trust. This is a great way for many reasons for asset protection, but one of the huge benefits here is that there was an act that was passed in the early 80s that said that a property, the title could be transferred into a trust and not trigger the due on sale clause. So we mentioned earlier exactly what the due on sale clause is. It states that if the title transfers, the lender has the option to call the loan due and payable in full. Now, we buy all of our properties in land trust, and so on the chain of title, if a lender was ever to look to get a title search and look at it, they would see that it was in the previous seller's name and then it was in a land trust, which doesn't trigger the due on sale clause. Now, that's a great way to protect yourself when buying subject to. One of the first properties that we ever bought, at the time we didn't have all the resources to do this and didn't know the ins and outs of it, and bought it in our company name, a couple of properties that we still own. And we've just made the payments to the bank. As long as the lender's receiving their interest payments, which is what they're all about, then you're most likely not going to have any issues there. Ultimately, the bank just wants to get paid. If you were to miss a payment or stop making payments for whatever reason, then you're really putting yourself at risk there. Also, know the loan. And I mentioned this back on the subject to basics. When you call in, you want to make sure you find out all the ins and outs, all the particulars of that loan that you're taking over, so that you can make sure you know exactly what to expect in the coming years when owning this property.